I gave a talk once on Sukkot, or Sukkot, for my Ashkenazic friends, a biblical festival of tabernacles or booths, however they translate it. And I gave a talk, and a lot of people afterwards were waiting in line to speak with me. And I saw one person over to the side. I said, "Come on up." He said, "No, I'll talk to you after." I said, "Okay." Usually that means it's a Jew who left the faith and they want to talk to me. That's been my experience. But it turns out this person wasn't. And he said, I want to talk to you. First, he thanked me for my thoughts. He said they were interesting. He said he has a problem with Jews. I thought, all right, I can read that one of two ways. He's got a neighbor and he's having problems with, or a few neighbors, or he's got a real problem with Jews. And I said straight up, do you mean you don't like Jews, or you're having a problem with some Jews in your life? And he said, I have a problem with Jews. So I said, okay, let's talk. What's your problem or problems? And he told me. Some of them were theological, some of them were cultural, stereotypes or tropes. So I asked him a question. I actually quoted 1 John, the Epistle of John, 1 John chapter 4 to him. If you say you love God, I asked him, you're a Christian. Turns out he was a minister. I said, now, what kind of a minister? Are you Bible believing? He says, yes. I said, you believe this is the word of God? And he said, yes. I said, okay, let me ask you a question then. So I asked him about 1 John chapter 4, where it speaks of, if you say you love God, but you hate your brother or your sister, you're a liar. And you know what he said to me? He said, I believe that. I said, well, he said, but you're not my brother, and neither are your people. I said, wow. He said, what do you mean, wow? He wasn't talking to Jews, he was talking to Christians. I said, and you think he only meant loving Christians? He said, yes. I said, you know what? I'm not even going to argue. I disagree, and so does much of Christian or decent Christian scholarship. Disagree. They do. But let me ask you another question. Let me ask you another question and see if this one makes a difference. Again, I fully disagree that teaching from John, first epistle of John, means just your narrow community. It's a grand love of humanity. In the Sermon on the Mount, in Matthew 5, Jesus says to love your enemies. That's not my theology, but you believe that. He said, yes. And you're to pray for those who persecute you and bless those who curse you, and. He said, yes. I said, so if I'm your enemy because of what we've, quote, done in the past and what we do in the present, why don't you love me? Why aren't you praying for me? And if I'm bringing, or my people are bringing curse into your life, or curses, why aren't you blessing me? And to his credit, he said, I'll have to think about that. That's a good question. That's a good question.